I don't see how that's a party.
Dr. Banner, now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Cat. I'm always angry.
Alright, so let's talk about some dark times, man. Some dark times. So everything had pretty much been, taken away from me for the most part. So, depression set in. I got home and I was in that routine, right? I was in that routine of being active and being involved, and then when all that stripped away, you fall into a new routine, and that routine is depression. And a lot of people battle depression. I look at depression differently now than I did at the time. At the time, I was like, this is the worst, possible thing I could be thinking of. It's just depression. It's the same typical way that you would describe depression. I mean, it's like the most god-awful thing you could go through, right? I remember not wanting to be very public. I remember my dad and mom, because I still lived at home then, would cook dinner or whatever, and normally we would go out and eat in the kitchen or whatever, and I didn't want to be around them because I was I was eating more. I was a little bit overweight, and I'm not an overweight guy by nature, but when you're depressed, you eat a lot, you're bored, and so you just do stuff to pass the time. So I ate quite a bit. I mean, I didn't get fat or anything, but I was weighing more than what I was normally used to weighing. And I remember I would never eat in the kitchen with them like normally. I would have them bring me my food. I mean, I wouldn't have them bring me my food, but they would bring me my food, obviously, and I would eat in my room, and then when I was done eating, I wouldn't go back into the kitchen. I would take my plate and put it by my door on the outside, and it was almost like I was in jail, you know what I mean? That whole bread and water thing where people bring you bread and water and you're done and you just set it outside your cell. That's kind of how it was. I mean, I can look back and laugh at it now, but I didn't want to see anybody. So they brought me my food, I ate, and then I would lay it out there. I would take showers at night when everybody else was at bed, in the bed or whatever, because I wasn't happy with me. Like, I didn't even want to look at me, I had a full-grown beard too, by the way. I grew this massive beard, man. I have no issue growing facial hair, so it didn't take me long to grow it out, and I just didn't want anybody to see me that way, man. I wouldn't say I was self-conscious, because I'm not a self-conscious kind of person, but I just wanted to be by myself. I felt like I was destined to do that, right? And it got bad. It got really bad to the point where, I think a lot of people get here. I was a bit suicidal at times. I wanted to just end it. I was like, I'm bored. There's nothing to do. I'm not active anymore. All I do is sit in my room all day, and it's just boring. And I remember during that time, one of my best friends, I'm not going to give away his name because I don't know if he wants me to give away his real name, but you guys might know him on YouTube as the Video Game Music Professor. He just started a YouTube channel. He actually started coming over to my house, and we started playing video games. And if you ever wanted to know why I have such a strong relationship with video games, that's one of the reasons why. I mean, I've always been in the video games since I was a kid, but I kind of got away from it when I got busy with life. And when things toned down, we started playing games. He would come over, we play Final Fantasy 9. I remember trying to beat the last boss to Final Fantasy 9, or no, it was Final Fantasy 8. And my characters weren't leveled up enough, and he stayed over there for a good 6 or 7 hours, man. And we just sat there and just tried to beast on the last boss, and it saved my life, man, having that little bit of interaction. Nobody else really wanted to hang out with me. I mean, I had a couple other friends, I won't mention their names either, that came over with him, that eventually started like palling around with me, but that was my core, man. This guy, Video Game Music Professor, he was the core, man. And he kind of held the glue together. Me and him would go off, and we would go down to like this, 2 or 3 hours away and get games and come home and beast on them, son. And it changed my life. It helped me to just recoup, and it helped me to be social again, because like I said, we go out on the weekends and pal around. And a lot of you guys have probably heard me talk about my book. This is also when I started writing my book, and that was life-changing. And the next thing you know, I moved to Georgia, which is where I live now. I just got away from everything. I got away from the state that I lived in, right? Because the state that I lived in is what I identified all the hurt with. And the second I left, man, is the second I started becoming a better person. So if you're battling depression, the one thing you can do to see the light again, man, to get through that tunnel, to get through those dark times, is sometimes you got to change your whole environment. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to change everything to get through it. I had to move 2 states away because I come from North Carolina. I had to move 2 states away, man, to really fulfill that. You know what I mean? To seal the deal, to fully get out of that depressive state. That's what I had to do. And sometimes when you're down and out, the best thing you can do is just change everything. Find something in your life. Obviously, what you're doing at that particular time has got you there. So all you need to do is change your environment. And 99.9% of the time, man, you come out of it. And those are probably the darkest times of my life. And that lasted for about 6 months or so before I finally got out of it. And I think if it had lasted any longer, you know, I may not be here right now. I really may not be here. You know, there was no reason for me to live at that particular time. And I think people, when they get that way, they think the easy way out is to just, you know, commit suicide or do something crazy like that. And it's crazy when you think about it, but when you're talking to somebody who's in that state of depression, that's not crazy to them. That's normal. That seems to be the next logical step. You see what I mean? That's how they feel like is going to best deal with their pain. So, you know, I went from having everything to losing everything, and then I fell into this ditch called depression, and instead of letting it beat me, I beat it. But I didn't do it alone, and that's really what I want to drive home with this commentary. It's really hard to beat depression alone. I'm sure there's people who can do it, but you need somebody. You need a core group of people, man. And for me, it was video game music professor and a couple of other cool friends too that he had that were kind of acquaintances of mine, but once we started all hanging out, they became my friends. You know what I mean? Like my true friends. And so thanks to him for wanting to come and hang out with me when I looked like crap and you know, I wasn't in the best of moods. But video games, core friends. So I guess video games is not for everybody. Find a hobby. Find something that you can do. Keep your mind occupied. Get a core network of friends. It does not have to be a big network. In fact, I would suggest it being a very small network because they're not going to judge you as much. The bigger your friend base is, the more you're judged. You see what I mean? And so get a hobby. Find a good core network of friends and change everything. Find everything about your life that got you there and just change it. And even if that means moving away or finding a whole new set of friends or changing schools, right? Changing colleges, whatever you got to do, man, that is going to be your ticket out. And I finally got out. And so I think tomorrow's going to be the last day of this. I'm going to be talking about kind of where I am right now and kind of how to deal with it. And we're going to go back to this Incredible Hulk mentality. Obviously, in this episode, there's no Incredible Hulk when you're depressed, man. You know what I mean? There's no rage there. You just want to just end it, you know? But I'm going to be sharing with you guys tomorrow how I still have the rage. Like, I can still go green. A lot of you guys think that I'm like some saint. No, I still get upset. I still get upset, but I know how to handle it. And I know how to tell a friend from foe. And I know how to compartmentalize, you know, who I need to be raging against and who, you know, needs to get a pass. You know what I mean? And so that's it. I will see you guys in tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show will be the last of this particular mini-series. Then we're going to go back to regular scheduled daily doses, news, topics, and stuff like that. But I will see you guys in tomorrow's show. Thanks for watching.